Don't move to Florida unless you can handle these negatives. Number one, the weather. You heard it time and time again. It is humid here in Florida. You will sweat. You're gonna run into thunderstorms, rain showers, we have tornadoes, we have hurricanes, everything in between. So different parts of the state are known for more different things. Of course, if you're closer to the water, you have a stronger chance of getting hit by those hurricanes. Also in Central Florida, I lived down there for like 10 years. Crazy rainstorms, thunder showers, and of course in Northeast Florida as well. If you can't really handle the weather, if you're not gonna take the time and listen to your meteorologist, you're gonna have some issues. So that's the first thing, the weather. There's no four seasons. You pretty much, summertime, extremely humid, and it just gets less humid. It's nothing, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you might be out in shorts. So just know that you're in Florida, the weather is very warm, and so that's key. Number two, the weeds, your grass, just be prepared. If you own a home or you're renting a home where you have to take care of the grass, be prepared to spend money on watering your grass, probably at least 2 times a week, and find you somebody who can help you with those weeds and those bugs in your grass, because it really needs to be treated on a regular basis. If not, you're gonna be replacing your grass over and over and over again. And then you're gonna have patches in your grass. It's not gonna look good. Your curb appeal will be shot. Really pay attention to this. Now, if you live in a condo or townhouse where HOA, the management company, keeps up with that, okay, all the well and good. But anything other than that, I'm telling you, set aside monies for keeping those weeds out of your grass. You will thank me later. Okay, another thing that's big here in Florida, let me tell you, we are a battleground state. So whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, an independent, or whatever you are, politics is huge here in Florida. You guys remember 2000. You guys remember the Hanging Chads. The voting was so close. It came down to a few votes. This still exists in Florida. Politics is huge in Florida. And why I would say that is that Florida is evenly split. Make no mistake about it. As much people who love the Republicans, there's as many people that love the Democrats. And depending on the personality and who's running for office, one side will win, of course, but it's very close. Florida is very diverse with people from all walks of life. It's not where like you're in New York or you're in Los Angeles where you know it's gonna be more liberal, or you're in a more conservative state where you know they're going conservative. Really realize that it's really down the middle. And depending on who's the governor, depending on who's the mayor or whatever, it can affect what goes on. You're gonna hear a lot of talk about CRT, critical race theory. You're gonna hear a lot of talk about voting disenfranchisement, them restructuring districts to get different votes. You're gonna hear a lot about them removing statues and things like that. So these are all hot issues that are talked about on high level. So in Florida, you will get that. And if you're not one that really likes to get into all of that and hear about that, Florida might not be for you. But I'm telling you, that's what it is. Make no mistake about it. You turn on the news, you read the newspaper, people are talking about it. And if they're not talking about it outwardly, you know those conversations are going on. So from city councilmen, from mayor, police chiefs, governor, for president, Florida is very political. So don't fool yourself. Don't act as though it doesn't exist. And I'm sure other states are like that, but Florida, by it being such a battleground state, everything is up for grabs. So just know that coming in. It's no big deal, but you just gotta know that. So check out one of my other videos. I talked about don't move to Jacksonville unless you can handle these things. So check that out. I have a few other videos that talk about different things in Florida. So check those out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that like button, to check out all my upcoming videos and things when moving to Florida. I love helping people when moving to Florida, and in particular Jacksonville, Florida, Northeast Florida, and the surrounding areas. But me and my team are helping people all over the state. Definitely love to help you out. So moving on, know this, that Florida is a tourist state. You know, I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I live near Central Florida, near Orlando, small area called Avon Park, had businesses in Central Florida. Most people, a lot of people you're going to run into are going to be from another state, you're going to be from another country, they're visiting, you're going to run into what they call snowbirds. You're going to have a lot of folks that are coming to visit and tour. So that affects a number of things. So at certain times of the year, it's going to be more profitable for businesses because you cater to folks who come down in the wintertime. When it's cold and freezing all over the other parts of the country, they come to Florida. So you're dealing with tourists. It depending on who you are, to me, it doesn't matter. But for folks who live here, you're just dealing with, it's a tourist area. So that's going to affect the traffic. A lot of times if you have a business, some parts of the year will be more lucrative than others, so you have to plan accordingly. Again, it affects traffic, it affects the growth, it affects how the city caters to, out-of-towners. So if it's one of these things where, you don't really want to deal with tourists and things like that, Florida's not the state for it because it's really, really huge. We depend a lot on tourists. Everything is huge. And I can tell you, when the pandemic hit, Florida was one of the first states to open back up, who kept things open for sporting events. So that was huge because it was affecting tourism. You have a lot of folks who go on cruises and, who travel to Florida and travel out of Florida. So tourism is very, very big. So it's a huge, huge thing here in Florida. Who goes Disney World in Orlando, for example? People travel there from all over. It's an international city. Okay, of course, Miami, one of the greatest party cities, so much to offer, and just you name it. There's so many major cities here in Florida. So it's a destination spot. And so you're going to run into tourists. Okay, moving on, piggybacking on that is the growth in overcrowding. Florida is continually growing. You have more and more people moving here all the time for a number of reasons. So if you're a person that likes things the same, doesn't like a lot of change or whatever, with the growth and the overcrowding, what you're getting is a lot of new businesses are moving here. You're getting a lot of new infrastructure, new highways, new roads, and things of this nature. So you're going to see continual growth. And this is from smaller towns and cities to bigger cities like Jacksonville, which has the most people, the biggest land area. Of course, Miami and parts of Tampa and Orlando, they have more people in their suburbs and everything, but Jacksonville, Florida is the largest city in Florida. I see the growth from this level, and then also by living in small towns in Florida before, you saw the growth even in the smaller towns and areas. So you'll have a lot of growth. Okay, moving on, the traffic. You're gonna run into a lot of traffic. Going on 95, you hit I-4, once you hit down in near Orlando, you're gonna see a lot of traffic. So just get ready. If you're not a person that likes to drive, you're going to get your driving skills will be tested. They will be tested. And I think a lot of it is because you have the tourists that are here, you have Floridians that have been here, and then you have everything in between with all the business and with all the growth, with all the changes. The roads are they're always working on it. It's always under construction, right? So you have all these different factors. So this creates a lot of issues. And I'm sure just like in other areas, but it's just even more magnified. Families coming down on vacation. You have the snowbirds, coming down during parts of the year, driving a little slower sometimes, not all of them. And then you just have people trying to get to work, and it's just a lot, so the traffic can be something else. It's not like Los Angeles traffic. It's not like Atlanta's traffic. It's not like Boston, Massachusetts traffic, or any of these really, really major cities. For the most part, Florida is not like down south traffic, meaning Miami, Fort Lauderdale. It's not that, but you just have a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts. Right, us here in Jacksonville, you give yourself 30, 35 minutes to get anywhere in Jacksonville because it's so spread out. The traffic works well here, but overall in the state, that's something you need to pay attention to. So what I tell people when moving to Florida and things of that nature is that what you want to do is, if you have a teenager, as soon as they turn 15 and they are responsible enough, get them their learner's permit at 15, so then when they get 16, they can already have an option to have their license. Trust me, parents, trust me, guardians, this will save you a lot of time and a lot of energy, because driving your kids around to all these events and all these things that's going on, if you have them in activities, it's going to save you. The transportation, the buses and the city buses and Ubers and all that, it's not the best. Now, maybe down south in the bigger cities it might be, but what I've seen, the transportation is not the best. So you really need a car. You really need a car. And then the sooner that your kids can drive and just get in the habit of driving, even though you don't like it, it's going to make your life easier to get around. I drive a very economical car, a Toyota Prius, been driving that for a few years, and I've always drove economical cars by being in Florida. And make sure you have some AC in that, by the way. So that traffic is huge. Definitely pay attention to that. And if you have a family member that loves to drive, I mean, during the holiday season, take good care of them. You know, take them out to lunch, do something, because that's key. Another thing you got to deal with is the bugs. With it being hot, man, you're gonna run into some gnats. You're gonna be, all of that. You probably seen some of my videos where I was swatting gnats while I was outside. Mosquitoes, fire ants, roaches, you name it. You're gonna run into it. Ladybugs. The bugs is a big issue down here. Now, some areas handle it a little better than others. Some areas, they spray at night to, deal with the mosquitoes and things like that, the gnats and things like that. But some areas, they don't spray as much, so you have to deal with the bugs, you're fanning, and it can be a pain, and you know what. So it takes a little while getting used to. And with it being hot, I mean, they just come out, all times of the year. So it's just something that you need to be aware of. I can remember back in the day when I was a little kid and stepped into an ant bed, which we all do at times. And man, those fire ants got me. They got me good. And I mean, I can always remember that. I probably was like 7 years old. And I think we were at a homegoing service or whatever. And we were walking out, to the grave or whatever. And then there was just an ant bed, and I think I stepped in it. So you're going to run into that. And again, like I spoke about the weeds, man. When these certain bugs and possums and different type of animals get out in your grass and dig in your grass, man, it makes for a mess. So bugs, can't talk about these negatives without talking about the animals. Lately, we've been running up on some bears, man, in Florida, here and there. Now, it's not like the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee or something, other areas where you have a ton of bears all over the place. But these bears, man, they'll come in your neighborhood, they'll come into your community, your suburbs, whatever, or your subdivision. With all the growth that's going on in Florida, all the, going out in the woods, all these builders and things that are tearing down the land where these animals are, and they have to go somewhere. Don't be surprised if you're out jogging in the morning or going for a walk, you see a bobcat. And how you can tell you see them, then you're like, is that a cat? But they're bigger than a cat. There's a bobcat living in Northeast Florida in somebody's backyard, and it's a part of the family now. I forgot the name of it, but look that up. So you'll run into bobcats. Sometimes there's Florida panthers are heard of, and of course the gators, alligators. They're liable to be in pools. I've seen them in some people's garage. I've heard of that. You see it on the news, of course. I haven't had to deal with it. They're in these retention ponds. Also, just be careful. Just be careful, with different animals. Of course, you'll see a family of deers from time to time. Another thing that I ran into, you've seen, out in these woods, you may run into some wild boars, but there are a lot of different animals here in Florida. So it's just one of those things that when you go out and about and you go out in the woods, in the city sometimes, you just gotta be aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on a swivel. The state is doing a good job of trying to take care of these animals as best they can, but you just gotta understand what is going on in Florida. Now, it's not unusual to see snakes in your yard. That's why you want to keep your grass cut regularly. Sometimes they'll get in your flower beds, they'll get in your garages. Sometimes you'll see some in your house. Not all the time. I'm not trying to scare you, but you just want to make sure you close those doors behind you. If it's an area where if you have water around your house and things of this nature, in the backyard, water, snakes, water moccasins and things of this nature. So Florida is known for that. There's some good snakes and there's some not so good ones. It's understanding it, and the beautiful thing is you have people who can give you education on it and help you understand the ones to kill, the ones to let go. But that's something that you need to know if you're living in Florida, that the animals are big, and alligators, snakes, and things of that nature. Another thing what you need to know is the customer service here is average at best. I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna tell it like it is. What I noticed with so many businesses, with so many startups, a lot of times what I think it is that people just hire folks, and it's not any like age group or anything, but it's just the customer service is just average. When you see good customer service, I always really tell them I appreciate it, either with the tip or whatever, but just when when you go into, maybe fast food restaurants and the convenience stores, people barely speak. They barely acknowledge you as being there. I've seen it consistently. And so if you have a business, if you come here and you're expecting like top-notch customer service in these stores, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed consistently. Now, here's the thing. If you have a business, or if you're managing a business or whatever, and you train up your people to really take care of the customer service and really do a good job about that, your company is going to roll out. So, it's going to do really good. So customer service here, just know that is an issue. It's average at best. A lot of times, like I said, people won't say anything. They cut right to the chase. How can I help you? It's not, no, good morning. Hey, how's it going? None of that. And it's okay. I'm used to it, but it just, sometimes you wonder, well, you know what, maybe I'll go somewhere where, they're kind of glad to receive my money. So that's in Florida, you're going to get that. And that's from anywhere in the state. So just be prepared. If you're a person that likes to chat it up with folks and you go in these stores and things like that, lower your expectations. So don't have any expectations in that arena. But if people do talk, great, that's great, it is. Okay, so another thing, the cost of living. The cost of living is going up in Florida. Make no mistake of the housing market, with everything that's going on with inflation, but the housing market, it was on 60 Minutes, it was on the news, the housing market, and it also the rental market. You had a lot of Wall Street, these big companies who are buying out these homes. They're buying up whole communities, whole neighborhoods, turning them into rentals, turning them to upscale rentals. So this is what's going on, and it's increasing the cost of living. So here's the thing. If your mortgage payment is going up, you can't buy a house, okay, then your rent is going up. What is happening is even rentals in areas where it was like maybe, let's just say $700 a month, $800, $900 a month, maybe a couple years ago, a lot of those homes are going for $1,400, $1,500 for rent. And then what happens is a lot of these landlords, they just say, well, let's just raise the price. But then what happens? The condition of the house, the improvements of the house is limited. Now, I'm not saying all landlords are like that. I'm not saying like all these corporate owners are like that. But what I'm saying is driving up the mortgage. It's driving up your rent. As you guys know about the cars, the new cars are going up, used cars are going up, and just everything is just going up here in Florida. Food is going up, right? So Florida's cost of living is going up, and mainly because of housing. It's been in the news. You see it every day. They're talking about it more and more. And so the question becomes, when you're moving to Florida, if you cannot handle these increased costs, believe me, Florida may not be for you, because it's just getting too expensive, right? Okay, so some other negatives. If you're a person that loves the mountains, you love curves and all that, when you're driving, Florida is very flat. You're dealing with a flat state, mountains, and there's no mountains, none of that. So it's gonna be very flat. For some folks who love, scenery like that, Florida's not the place for you. Moving on is, there's no real historic landmarks. There's not a ton of history like that here in Florida. Now, St. Augustine, which is not, with Northeast Florida, they have a lot of great historic, forts and different things like that. A lot of great history. Definitely check that out. That is an area that, has some history. But overall in the state, Florida doesn't have a lot of historic spots. So that's the big thing. And then I would also say you do have, like I said, a lot of snowbirds, a lot of retirees that move to Florida. For me, I don't think that's really a negative. We welcome everybody. What it does is it affects a lot of times when retirees, the housing, they have retiree areas, drive a little slower a little bit, but they also provide great income to the area. So it's just an area that, to know that in the state, you do have a lot of retirees moving to the area. And so if you're a person like you just want to be around young people all day, younger folks, then Florida may not be for you, but it is what it is. But hopefully these things help you a little bit. Tell me what you think. Leave me some comments. Check out some other videos helping people all over, out of town, out of state, with moving to Florida. Me and my team love to help you out. Give me a call, shoot me a text. Check out some other videos related to some things here in moving to Florida and Jacksonville area. So thank you very much.